Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Kush Wave. Welcome to Handcuff Status Podcast. On today's episode, we'll be discussing tattooing a new life, what it means, and various forms of injustice in our criminal justice system. We have an exclusive guest, Adam McKnight,
What's up, brother?
who was incarcerated for robbery, kidnapping, and now he is the owner of FTS Inc. He will be sharing his experience and story with us. Let's get right into it. How you doing, Adam?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Everything is beautiful for our September, eh?
Yeah, no, everything's good. It's summer's dying down. But we still have some beautiful weather.
Before we get into the questions, Adam, could you please give us a brief history of yourself?
Okay, so I guess I started off in the streets. I started off homeless when I was a teenager after my mom passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Adam.
It's okay. No, it's been a long time now. So I ended up in the streets. I ended up turning to the drug game and stuff like that to support myself, and eventually got into some trouble. I got a drug case, which ended up resulting in getting my DNA taken, which ended up resulting in a cold case from 7 years prior coming back, a hit to my DNA.
Wow.
So that's how I ended up in prison. And then that's where the good news starts, I guess. That's where the positive, as weird as that sound, starts. And that's where I found art and tattooing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So something that happened 7 years prior, they had your DNA on file?
Yeah, so I had left a drop of blood at the scene of the kidnapping and robbery. And so yeah, they matched it back to my DNA profile when I went into probation one day and they snatched me from the back room.
Just like that.
And I had no idea at the start because it was so long ago. Like, they told me I was being charged with kidnapping, and I was a different person at that time,
Yeah.
you know? Like, I wasn't as wild as I was in my younger days, and it was a shock, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you found your real talent through
Yeah.
all that.
That's what I mean. Something positive came from it. So yeah, the negative turned into a positive for sure.
Okay. We're gonna get into the song of the week, and then we're gonna go more into the questions.
Okay, sounds good.
2500 for a new Glock. One pop that'll make your heart stop. Suit in the box, Henny over rocks. Nike to the shock, stay G'd up. Dutch in my mouth, feel it real low. You can't make me out. Your girl take me out, give her good dick, then I kick her out. Feds on my trail, take a different route. Money in my past, money in my future. When it comes to the game, I could be your tutor. You gotta be your shooter, you gotta be your boss. Don't let your niggas get lost. Never show your thoughts, paper stack it up. Bitch with a fat ass, told her back it up. Tongue when she down to suck her bread and she down to fuck. Henny black wavy puffing on the Dutch. Middle finger to air, nigga that's what's up. Big 40, no worry. Black get buried, my life too scary. Mr. Hit get buried, up till I'm weary. Lord, do you hear me? I need blessings from my soul. I got a good heart, but it feels so cold. Money in my pocket, my wallet can't fold. Got a hot bitch, my girl's never cold.
That was Private Spaceship, Dark Feelings, Free Private Spaceship.
My brother. So
When you got the news now that you're going to get incarcerated for something that happened 7 years prior, what was your first reaction?
Disbelief, like not realizing, like, yeah, it's hard to explain. Just in shock. Like, it takes a few days. I'm thinking I'm gonna get bail. I'm thinking it's so old. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna beat the charges, and Yeah, I think I was hopeful in the beginning, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I'm so old. Yeah.
So and when you got the charge, you got the drug charge, the drug trafficking charge with the robbery charge
So-
and the kidnapping now?
So technically, I got 21 months for the drug charges. I did 13 months of that. If anyone knows, we do like 2/3 of the time.
Yes.
So the 13 months, I came home for 2 months. In the meantime, I was on probation for the drug charges, and I guess it had taken like a full year for them to, maybe not a full year, 6 months to a year for them to run my DNA and have it come back a hit. So I was out 2 months and then went back in for the robbery and kidnapping.
And that was a cold case.
Yeah, that was the cold case. Yeah.
Wow. You must have been blown away that this thing led to all of this now.
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember how I left. Like,
And I'm sorry, how much years?
I got 4 years. I got 4 years total. So I did a year for the trafficking, and then I got a 4-year sentence for the robbery and kidnapping and firearms, but I did 3 of those. I got a year parole. Yeah.
And did the knowledge of the past coming back, did that affect your mental health?
Oh, of course. Like, for the longest time, even after I came home, I've been home 6 years now. Remember, I came home and 2 months later, they came and scooped me up for 3-4 times the amount of time that I already did. So yeah, for the longest time, I'm thinking it's gonna happen again. You know, yeah, for sure.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
And do you think you had a fair trial?
I didn't go to trial, to be honest. They were trying to fry me. They were trying to give me like 12, 13 years, as they do, just throw crazy numbers at you. They were trying to pin it to the trafficking and try and make it like organized crime charges, saying using violence to something with an ongoing criminal enterprise. They try and throw everything at you.
Try to use the cold case and say that for 7 years you've been doing these.
Yeah, they're trying to say it was like a decade long. Yeah. yeah. Which is like they had nothing to do with each other. There's like it, but yeah, they try and twist whatever they can. They throw 100 charges at you, knowing that you'll plead down to 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like,
So you pleaded, you got your 4 years.
I think that was fair, to be honest. If I'm being honest, yeah, no, for sure.
Sure. And then you were sent to prison on these.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
2 years. Right?
So I did 2 years at Scarborough East Detention, and then I did a year at Scarborough East Detention, and then 2 years at Collins Bay, with a small at Joyceville in between the where they categorize you, assessment unit.
Between the 3, like, where did you rather stay? Not that anywhere is.
That's a big thing. So like it's a big balance between the two. Pre-trial custody is way more hard on your mental. That's why they call it dead time. That's why it used to be worth 2 for 1. They used to give you 2 days for 1 day, and it's designed to make you plead guilty. The entire system is designed. Everybody's like, just plea, like other inmates are like, just plea and go to the pen. You have a TV, you can touch your family, you know what I mean? Like, it is you do have a lot more, not rights.
So they make it so difficult and hard
In Provincial.
so that you would rather plea out.
Yes.
And
100% it's designed like that.
I've never looked at it.
Yeah. It's designed to squeeze you while you're in there. Like, a 20-minute phone call is $20 to talk to. Like, I don't know if you guys talk about how Bell has a monopoly on that stuff. Like,
Yeah, that's
they definitely are manipulating people at their worst times. Like, that's one aspect of it. Not even that. It's like there's fights and stabbings over the phone. It's hard to get on the phone to even talk to your people.
yeah. There's not a lot of phones on the range.
And these are all things that they do on purpose. You don't think they could put more phones?
Of course.
Of course, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not that hard. But yeah, no, that's one thing. So between the two, pen living is definitely can be better, but it's also more dangerous. Like, there's a lot more weapons in the pen. People have a lot less to lose. People are doing life sentences. Like, so it's a balance. It just depends on which way you look at it. But yeah, that's one thing that I think needs to change, is that no one looks at the provincial system as exactly that, as just like trying to pressure you. It's intentionally hard on your mental and hard on your physical. They don't feed you enough. They just want you to plea and go on to.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take.
Mm-hmm. If you ask anybody that's done time at that specific question, that's like a consensus kind of thing. Everyone's like, they have it set up like this.
They want us to plea out.
Yeah, 100%.
What was your first impression when you entered prison?
Prison was a little bit wild, to be honest. Like, I'm good because I'm not from a neighborhood in Toronto. I'm from a small town, Georgetown. And I made it very clear from the beginning that I was like trying to change my life. And people kind of do respect that, to be honest. If you're not trying to be like a guy, if you're not trying to run plays, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is your guys.
Yeah, do your thing.
Do your thing. I'm just trying to draw a tattoo and go home. Like, I'll hopefully never come back here. You know what I mean? Like, but I think I got some respect for that. Prison wasn't as bad as Provincial.
A little bad Provincial. What coping mechanisms did you use to deal with the harsh realities of prison life, such as isolation, violence, and confinement?
Luckily, drawing. Like, that's all I did, like 24/7 from when I got into Provincial. How I actually learned how to draw, or realized I never drew before in my life, really. I was never an artist before I went to jail.
No.
Never.
So how did you pick up the mechanic?
So I read a book about, I read like a self-help book about how your brain works. It's called The Right Side of the Brain, I believe.
Ooh.
And it just explained to you how your left side of your brain, I might be mixing the two up,
but the left side of your brain.
The left side is the creative part, the right side is the logical part, or vice versa, whichever it is. And it explained to you that it had nothing to do with drawing, but they were just trying to make an example of how your brain tricks you into doing certain things. So they told you to draw a self-portrait. I couldn't draw a self-portrait. I didn't have a picture of myself or anything. I drew a portrait of a model from like Maxim. And then they told you read the next chapter and then draw it again. And it tells you essentially that your logical side of your brain is trying to trick you to speed up the process. And it's just trying to tell you, like, draw the symbol for lips. Like, don't actually, like, look at every little shadows of just, you know what lips look like. Just draw the shadow, or just draw the symbol for lips. And then, so they said, look at every little shadow, whatever. And long story short, I drew a second portrait, and it was, like, a tiny bit better. And I just was like, and I was bored. And and I got obsessed. And I just drew portraits for the rest of my time.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I started drawing, yeah.
How did the guards treat you because of your charges, particularly the kidnapping and drug trafficking?
So in Provincial, they don't really know your charges, to be honest, unless you're like, I'm sure they could look it up, but like,
they bring you down to that.
Of course, but like, there's people that are on the radar. I was like kind of off the radar, to be honest. Maybe it's,
even in jail they have like,
they do, but it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did know what it is, but like my thing is like not even that bad compared to
what was going on.
There's, you know what I mean? Like, obviously to the average person that sounds like some wild charges, but like there's murderers on range. There's all kinds of
on range, yes.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So I don't think now, but when I got to prison, I was excluded from like certain jobs and stuff because of the violent charges and kidnapping charges.
So
yeah, so I couldn't get, I can't even remember what it was, but in Joyceville, I pretty much couldn't get a job.
You couldn't get a job?
And no, they wouldn't let me get a job.
So you couldn't be a server?
Yeah, I couldn't do anything in Joyceville, but then once I got to Collins Bay, I was able to work in the kitchen. I was able to work as range cleaner. I did a bunch of stuff.
But they know your charges?
Yeah, for sure. But it's before you're classified. So it's just, I have bad charges, but then in assessment unit, you have like a point score.
Oh yeah, the points were.
Yeah, so like
your point score was good.
it wasn't that bad considering the charges because all the rest of my factors were pretty good. I didn't have like a long list of violent charges. You know what I mean? Like
You're not a chronic.
my points wasn't that bad. I was medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to a medium.
Yeah, Collins Bay.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Did you feel like the system was designed to work against your chances of parole, or did you believe in the possibility of earning a release?
So everything's behind. And since COVID, I'm sure it's even worse. I've heard, like, I have friends that still call home every once in a while. I think it's caught up a little bit now. COVID killed it, but even before then, I was eligible for parole like 6 months before I actually got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to wait extra time to get into a program, and you have to complete your program to come home, which isn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like the program teaches you some life skills. They teaches you some like.
But in the program and the parole time, it lines it up.
No, that's what I mean. Like they don't have enough program space to get you in fast enough to actually make you eligible for your first parole hearing.
Oh my.
Most times, unless you have a long sentence. If you have a 10, 15-year sentence, you might get it in time to get your first parole.
To get your first.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Can you share a defining moment when you realized that you deserved a second chance?
I think everybody deserves a second chance. So I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say there was a specific moment.
No, but like I couldn't even tell you the moment that I really, really decided that I was done with that life. I kind of maybe just crept up on me a little bit. I don't know. I think just.
It could have been a series of things.
Yeah, like I've tried to think back on it. I don't really remember what it was. It was more just like up until then I had convinced myself with stupid like self-talk and stupid like, you know what I mean? Like convincing yourself of things that like I'd done little bits of time here and there, but like not that bad, you know? And then the minute I heard 13 years probably, that was probably one of those moments. The minute I got sentenced to 4 years, probably another moment, you know what I mean? Like.
And then actually going through it and going into prison.
Yeah. So, and then eventually the drawing and the tattooing, I didn't even think was going to change my life in the beginning. I thought it was just going to be for fun.
So what inspired you to open the store?
No. So the store is way later. So in prison, I taught myself how to draw portraits. And then one of my friends had convinced me to tattoo, convinced me to build a machine because you're not allowed to tattoo in there. That's another thing we'll talk on in a second that I think they need to change. So I was like, it's going to be way too hard. I don't know. I've never tattooed before. It sounded like a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. Build a machine.
Build a machine out of nothing. I don't know how to do this. And he's like, if I could get the machine motor and kind of figure out and help you build the machine, will you tattoo me? He's like, I believe in you. You're a sick artist.
Wow, yeah.
So yeah, that's what we did. He got me a CD player motor. I built a machine. I tatted myself first. This little rose right here.
That's the first one?
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
No, it's not. That's what, bro, this whole thing was like, I did this in there and I did like all my thighs pretty much. So from there, I still didn't think it was going to be like a career. I'm just hanging out with the homies. Like, yeah. And like, I made a little bit of money in there. Yeah. You can get some canteen items. You can even get EMTs on the road that you can, if you're good, you can make some money. But I didn't do it for that. I literally I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And then when I came home, I started getting better and better. And then I decided I was really, maybe like 4 years ago, I decided I was really going to be like full-time trying tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when your skills increased and you were more confident with yourself, that's when you said, you know what, might as well I open a shop or win the clientele.
There was one step before that. I was working full-time construction when I came home.
Okay.
Like 7 till 3. And then I would go home, let my dog out, shower, take my dog to the tattoo shop. Sometimes I was tatting my condo before that, but I would take it to the tattoo shop and work anywhere from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. till 3 a.m.
Wow. I'll go back.
And then go back and tattoo, or then go back in construction next morning at 7.
Aye.
And then the reason I stopped is because I I was calling in sick to my construction job because I had tattoos booked and I would make more money doing the tattoos. And when it started to conflict with my tattoo money, I decided it was probably a good time to quit and I could go full time.
Okay. Yeah. So when it balanced out your salary and even did better,
Exactly.
you actually getting.
That's my advice to most people like that come home. If you're trying to do something that's a dream or kind of outside the norms of just getting a 9-to-5 job, is that you're going to need to get yourself a 9-to-5 job and make it your hobby. And hopefully at one point your hobby can surpass and turn into your work.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it doesn't make sense in giving up something that's paying the bills to struggle to.
There was no guarantee that I was going to be a tattoo artist, there's no guarantee I was going to open a shop. Like obviously I believed in myself, but
like you said, you came out not even with that intention.
No.
It's when it made more sense.
Yeah, I just naturally I wanted to do it, so I just kept doing it. I got better at it, and then obviously it paid off in the end. So,
what role does forgiveness, both self-forgiveness and from others, play in your life and your success story? Because you clearly have to forgive yourself.
Of course. Yeah, forgiving yourself is a long time. I heard like a lot of my family and stuff over the years, just being absent, just obviously going to jail, embarrassing them, stuff like that. Like, yeah, no, it's hard, but it's easier when you do have people that love you, that forgive you and stuff. Like my dad's always been with me. My grandmas, both of them have passed since I came home, but both of them rode till the day they died. They don't care what I did.
Yeah.
Like both my grandmas they know exactly what I did, and no love ever changed. You know what I mean? Like they came to visit me. My grandma drove 6 hours to come visit me. Like, wow. Yeah, no. So it's it's easier when you have people that forgive you first, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It makes it easier for you to forgive yourself too. How does your own story of transformation influence how you view others?
It's funny. Before this, we were talking about Joe Rogan, but he always talks about how he like looks at people as like a baby, and it's like everybody started off innocent. Everyone started off as like a normal person. You know what I mean? And we all have trauma and things we go through that like change us. Everybody has stuff they're going through that like forms their life, essentially. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I say to people that everybody has different things that we may see at different times, but it affects us differently.
Of course. No, for sure. I didn't think I had any like PTSD or what's the word I'm looking for? Like, when you come home, what's the word when people want?
What do they call it again? When you can't reintegrate.
Yeah, like we forget. We're now coming up with the word. It's a common word, but I didn't think I really had that big of a mental problem when I first came home, because I just kind of hit the floor running. I started working. I didn't really think of anything like that, and I started to notice these little things. Like, I'm way more of an introvert now. I'm super okay just being by myself. I don't really go out as much, and I have to like force myself to do that, or I'm gonna turn into like a hermit.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I don't like meeting new people. It's like
Jill did that.
Yeah, like it's like I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah, for sure. I was a super outgoing person before. I used to be outside at all times.
All right, we're gonna take the time right now to shout out our sponsor. We would like to shout out Body Belief, your prime beauty and wellness boutique. Check them out at Body Belief on Instagram. So my brother, well, the shop started up now, right? And where did you get the idea to get athlete gas for a podcast? Like, how did you turn it from a tattoo from a tattoo shop to a podcast tattooing.
So I ended up linking up with a few of the Argos. My boy Dan Adebaye. I can never say his last name. Sorry, Dan. Him, Dwayne Hendricks, a few of the Argos came through to get some tattoos, and as I was tatting them, we were obviously chopping it up and had like cool conversation. I became friends with these guys. I go to the games now, and I just thought it would be a cool thing for you to kind of sit in on like tattoo sessions and kind of like sit in on the kind of conversations that would happen. Kind of like the way LeBron's shop talk is kind of like a barbershop kind of talk. Okay. The way that guys would sit around in a barbershop and talk about sports or whatever. I wanted to be like a similar parallel with tattooing.
Is that because of over your years of tattooing, you always had intriguing conversations?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like that. Some of my clients that end up being my good friends, like they joke that you're a tattoo artist, you're a therapist. You know what I mean? Like
therapy.
Yeah, like a lot of people will joke that they're.
We had a poetic therapist in there at the end of the day.
There you go.
Oh, we have
Yeah.
But tattoos there.
No, for sure. A lot of people like kind of consider tattoo as therapy. So when you add like, if you have someone that's good at listening and you know what I mean, just have a good conversation, then yeah. So that was where the idea for the podcast came from.
That's beautiful. How do you see your tattoo shop as a symbol of your redemption? And do you even view it as that?
I never thought of it like that, to be honest, but I guess like if I can start a business, you know what I mean? Like if I could go from when I came home, I was obviously have to live in a halfway house. I had absolutely nothing. I had like barely any clothes.
Yeah.
I came home with $27, which I think was my last pay from the prison jobs.
Wow.
Like it was like, I think it was $27. Every 2 weeks they pay you $27, and I saved it. And I like that was literally all I had. I got a painting job for like $17 an hour. Then I got a little apartment that had cockroaches running across the walls. Like I really went from nothing to I own a business downtown Toronto now. So I guess, shows I didn't come home to a handout. I didn't come home to a pile of money that I had saved. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have somebody to invest money in the shop. I just grinded and
built it from the ground up.
Just got to work hard.
With that being said, what advice would you give to others who are in a similar situation, trying to rebuild their lives after incarceration?
Yeah, similar to what I said before. It's like obviously just take whatever work you can when you come home. It's slim pickings sometimes. You got to put your ego aside if you're going to be like a dishwasher, a painter, like, you know what I mean?
Whatever it is.
A lot of us came from making a lot of money before we went to prison.
And I feel like that's the problem with a lot of the gentlemen that come out is they had so much money and now all this hard work, long hours for what they would consider paid and small.
And then you're in the halfway house and you're going to your 2 shifts a week at a dishwasher at Jack Astor's, and some next guy that just came home is already grabbing packs again, and you know what I mean? He's up to no good and he's got money. You know what's going on in the house. You know what I mean? Like there's people that don't learn their lesson and come straight home and are like all in again, right? And like you got that guy living across the hall from you, and you're going to work for $17 an hour and making like $60 a week, you know? So yeah, no, it's hard. But you just get a job and then find something that you want. Either go to school while you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Find some sort of hobby that is realistically possibly going to bring you some money, whether it could be music. Maybe you want to be a rapper. Maybe you're not going to be a rapper, but maybe you can make beats. Maybe you could be an engineer. There's all kinds of different lanes.
A lot of guys that come out and they're like practically personal trainers and they don't even know it.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Personal trainer.
No.
He looks at me and like,
there's so many different things.
You're right.
No, that's a big one. I didn't even think of that one. But like
I
came home 200 pounds of muscle. I lost like 40 pounds since I've come home. Like I shrunk because
did not work it out as hard.
I went from construction to sitting on a stool all day, tattooing, smoking blunts. So right. Yeah, and COVID, and I have a shoulder injury, but that's aside the point. Yeah, there's one thing they could do is help train people with more stuff while you're in there. So they got rid of a lot of the programs.
Yeah.
A big one that they could be teaching is they could be pumping out way more barbers.
Yeah.
That's a big one. You could pump out personal trainers very easily. You could get a personal training degree in there very easily. We have gyms.
It's true.
You know what I mean? You could just get a volunteer, other dude who's your homie to be your test. You know,
That's it.
barbers, they should be able to allowing us to tattoo. There's way more things. We're tattooing anyways.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Make a program.
Make a program and give these guys something to come home.
Yeah. I think there used to be a program.
Is there any other programs other than those that you think would be interesting too? Or would be good?
That's just like, if I would have put more thought into it, you could come up with 1,000 different things that we could do in there. You know what I mean? And even they cut down on a lot of the welding certifications.
That's
and,
horrible.
yeah, you used to be able to make decent money in there, send some money home to your family. They cut that out. Now you work for $27 every 2 weeks for someone who would make $70 an hour on road. No, they could definitely do more things. There's only like 4 spots for welding, I think, in like Collins Bay. Maybe there's more, but like
In the whole of it?
yeah.
Oh,
And that's like a 6-month program. So it's like no one's getting their welding certificate like that.
Yeah.
You know, and they used to.
yeah. They used to come all with a trait.
Yeah, for sure. Welding was the main one. I didn't years ago there was more stuff. You know what I mean? And at Harper government, I'm pretty sure cut most of it.
Harper cut it,
Yeah.
and that's the conservatives.
Yeah.
And now we have election coming up again, and
Yeah.
this new conservative guy says he wants to build more jails.
Yeah, but like the liberals weren't really doing anything for the criminal justice system either. The conservatives are going to build more jails. I'm not saying that I believe in that, but the liberals have done nothing. I haven't seen, I pay attention to this a little bit. They've done nothing for criminal justice reform other than like making it easier for people to get bail and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which had its own problems. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to get bail, but that was their solution. That was their main thing. Like, we made it easier to get bail. And it's like, I don't know if everyone should be that easy to get bail. You know what I mean? If there's 13 times stealing a car or something, right? But
I don't know. The liberal government and the conservative, they both need to come together and figure out something that they could do for the general population in prison instead of just.
I don't think they'll do either. I find them like a uniparty now. I don't really find them that much different that much to mirrors. They mimic American politics talking points that will never change. Like the conservatives talk about abortion. Abortion's never changing in Canada, but
Yeah.
they'll just say that so they can seem like they're conservatives. You know what I mean? But they all just do the same shit. They're all just working for corporations.
They need to focus more on the inmates because, like you're saying, there's a lot of murders in there. There's a lot of.
One simple thing they could do is bring back the actual pardon, which there's a ton of evidence that brings down recidivism.
Really?
Yeah, so Harper changed it to a record suspension, which isn't a real pardon. The border can still see it. Certain sectors can still see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And before that, when you had an actual pardon, I forget the actual stat, but it was in the 95+% people who got a pardon didn't re-offend.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's so hard. It's a long process. You have to wait 5 years. You have to be 5 years after your parole, with no incidences at all. You know what I mean? It's a long process. It costs some money. The type of people that are actually doing that are the type of people that change their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Because they want it.
they've proven it. It's a process for you to prove that you've changed your life, and they took that away.
Okay. And is there anything that you would like to say personally?
The one thing I wanted to say is I wanted to talk about on here is the tattooing, and there's a lot of good artists in there that when they come home, parole doesn't really encourage you to tattoo. They kind
No?
of discourage you to tattoo.
It's like any other job, though, isn't it?
There's probably some reasons why they don't. There's a stigma around some tattoo shops with like bikers, drugs, stuff like that. So if you're like a recovering addict, which a lot of people are coming home from prison, it might not be the best environment for you. That's a valid point. But there's some responsible shops out there. My point is I want to create a few bridges. One being, I just don't know. I don't have the resources. I don't know. Maybe you guys can put me in touch with some people for when people come home to transition from a prison tattoo artist to a real tattoo artist. So whether it's like some small little course, not a course, tattoo courses are so badly stigmatized.
Like a program.
Some program where you come home and I would donate some of my time, or maybe we could get some grants from the government and like teach you the proper sanitation, teach you proper machines and needle groupings, because it's a guitar strings and CD play. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Teaching you how to actually do it.
The fundamentals.
And teaching you how to properly shop around for an apprenticeship to show. And then hopefully also get a network of shops that are open to taking some of these ex-incarcerated people that came through my program, hopefully have kind of shown they do want to be a tattooer. You know what I mean?
It's all about where the money is. If the government actually put money into those programs or something like that, people would take them.
I would be willing to donate some of my, I would be willing to do one night a month. You know what I mean? Where literally like I got a group of inmates that are coming home on parole kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I have 10 tattoo machines that I bought. I want to do something like that. I want to
give back.
I want to teach like at-risk youth, like find someone at like Covenant House or something where like kids that are in danger of like homelessness kind of thing, and like
and they're not doing enough. They're not doing enough for those kids either.
Yeah, of course. Because if there's two places I could have if tattooing had came into my life, could have changed my life. A, as a youth. B, as sometime before prison, but after prison, it's still. A lot of people didn't get the opportunities. I lucked out and I was walking past a tattoo shop when I first came home, right around the block from the halfway house. Asked them if I could buy a tattoo machine somewhere in the area, and he was like, "You trying to be a tattoo artist?" And I'm like, "I just came home from prison, just to be honest, and I tattooed a little bit. Here's what I did," and he offered me an apprenticeship.
Wow.
So I was lucky, but that's like just fate.
That's how you got your apprenticeship?
The apprenticeship only lasted 2 months. No hard feelings to the guy. He did a different style of tattooing that I was looking to do.
But he gave you a chance.
Me the basics. Yeah. He taught me what real machines were, kind of like what I want to teach people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just literally random. I was walking past it. I was like, I bet these guys could tell me where I could buy a tattoo machine.
And you walked in there and got 2 months of knowledge and training.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then that's when you started to do that at your condo?
Well, at that
or no,
point,
you were
not
still
a condo. That was the Roach. The Roach apartment. But I did it for 2 months there, and then I did a tiny bit at my apartment, and then I moved downtown, and then I got into a shop in Ajax, and then COVID hit, and then I was just tatting out of my condo for a minute, and then I got into
COVID must have slowed everything down.
COVID was I just don't want to say this. COVID was the best thing that happened to my tattoo career. Half the shops were shut down, so half the artists weren't available. I was okay at tattooing, but I wasn't amazing. And I had availability and a place to tattoo. And I was cheaper, so good timing for me.
That's good.
Yeah.
I figured that it would have been like, oh, nobody wants to be around anybody, right? Especially.
So the thing was, I kind of masked as like no big deal, because some of the biggest tattoo artists were having to tattoo out of their condos. People at first, everyone shut down and they were a little bit, but once we realized things were a little
sketchy,
everyone's like, get on my waiting list for after COVID. You know what I mean? And then everyone just started tatting out of their condos.
Okay.
So a lot, but like some people couldn't. Not everyone can tattoo out of their place. Some people live at home with their parents. You know what I mean? So it eliminated some of the tattoo artists from the game at the time.
And I guess
but now it's boomed. Now it's oversaturated.
Is it?
COVID also, everybody was home with a government $2,000 check, and they bought machines off of Amazon and fake skins.
Everybody became a tattoo artist.
Everybody became a tattoo artist. Yeah, everyone wanted to change careers. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. There's some of them that made it through that are great tattoo artists and they stuck it out. Some were wannabe scratchers, you know what I mean? And those ones are fading out. So
the market's balancing.
Yeah, exactly.
The market's balancing back out.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's where you got to save majority of your money too now, because
For sure, yeah.
no one's going anywhere or doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone had COVID money. It was great for me.
Yeah, so opening the shop wasn't too difficult after COVID.
Opening the shop after COVID. Opening the shop for me was very difficult just because I had no clue what I was doing. Opening a tattoo shop, no one showed me what to do. I just kind of stumbled my way through it with the licensing and stuff. It took me like a year to get the proper licensing and stuff. Like, kept sending it back to me saying I filled it out wrong. And
Is that because of your record?
Part of it. So to get a business license, to get a personal service settings business license in the city of Toronto, I needed to get a criminal record check. So I had to send them my whole finger. I had to get an RCMP check, actually. I had to get fingerprints sent. I had to get, see if there's any open investigations on me.
What?
Yeah. I had to go into the equivalent of the DMV and watch these two ladies behind the camera go through every one of my charges, which is kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? I also have a long record from when I'm a YO with just drugs and thefts and just stupid stuff.
But they're not saying it out loud.
They are, because the supervisor has to force it through the system for whatever reason. Because they're not supposed to be it's red flagging me, but for whatever reason it's not actually grounds to not give me my license. So they have to type in every charge, and then it was a little bit much.
A little embarrassing.
Yeah, but I got the license.
You got the license. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You got the license. You open up the store.
Yeah.
And now you're on a better path.
Of course. Yeah.
You're on a better path. Now you're even adding to the story now with the podcast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
And you want to help others that have been incarcerated. Like you take a day out of the month, you're saying, and
of course, I would
teach them.
If it went well and it was doing good, I would take more. I'm just, you know what I mean? And hopefully I would get some sort of grant or something. Hopefully I could have some sort of organization that would at least pay for some supplies. You know what I mean? Because it's it costs money. It does at the end of the day.
The government really needs to do more. Yeah.
There is some third-party organizations that I just like Angel Wings.
Angel Wings?
They give presents to incarcerated kids of incarcerated people.
Oh wow, no, I didn't.
There's
know.
some third-party charities that do their own fundraising that would come up. You know what I mean? I just need to find the right partnership.
Yeah, but it's just hard when someone's out on parole and they want to do something with themselves, and all they could do is go work in a factory or something like that when they know that they have a talent and they could invest in themselves. We would just do something for them, set up programs that they could do what they want to do.
Of course, yeah. That's the whole thing. Hopefully I can put together something like that. If anyone out there that's watching this can help, I would love any organization or any kind of, even just pointed in the right direction. If you know somebody that might, you know what I mean, help, put me in contact with them. I'd love to at least get it started. It would be baby steps. I mean, it would start with 1 day a month. Maybe it goes to way bigger than that. Who knows?
But even at least you have the thought and that idea. Yeah. Especially for someone that's been incarcerated. What I wanted to ask you too is, was there a stigma around your shop, knowing that this person was incarcerated?
No, luckily tattoos always been counterculture.
Okay.
Tattoos started with sailors, bikers. You know what I mean? Tattoos used to be you're a criminal or you know what I mean?
Okay.
So no one in the tattoo industry. It's almost most people when they find out my story are intrigued. Most people are interested. Most people aren't judgmental. I think I present myself as someone who's not that anymore. You know what I mean? And it's usually not the first thing that comes up in conversation. So usually you would have gotten to know me a little bit, and then you find out, and you're more just intrigued, how the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
So I haven't found too much of a stigma, definitely in the tattoo industry. No, it's almost comeback stories are kind of celebrated. You know what I mean?
They are.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people that found tattooing later in life or were homeless or prison tattooers is a huge thing. You know what I mean? A lot of the Californian, style of tattooing, like that, cartoon, the guy that tatted 50 Cent's whole back. There's like OGs in the game that came from prison.
So tattooing a new life. What does that mean to you when I say that?
Exactly that. Like tattooing gave me a new life.
Okay.
Like, literally, I remember when I realized like that I was so blessed to work like a dream career, not even just like a good job. Because when I came home, I had a good job. I worked as a fire sprinkler technician in the union.
Oh, nice.
Great job.
Mhm.
But not a dream job. You know what I mean? Like I literally go to work every day. I draw, I hang out with my friends. I bring my dog to work.
That's what you want to do.
It's
Bring my
so
dog
the
to
day
work.
I realized that I was in Starbucks at like noon, and I looked down and I was like, I normally would have been on lunch in my work boots. You know what I mean? Like, and I like looked down, I was in like my flip flops and I was getting like an iced coffee, and I was like, oh, I'm like, I just woke up like an hour ago. You know what I mean? Like I'm chilling right now. I'm like not worried about getting to work late. Like it's just, so yeah, no, tattooing,
It changed your life.
it definitely changed my life. Yeah.
It's amazing how you found it while you were sitting down incarcerated. But
Yeah.
that's usually how people find what they really want to do. Is they have all the time in the world to think about it.
Yeah. No, for sure. There's when people finally do decide to turn their life around, we should definitely give them a second chance. Not everybody has actually taken that, crossed that threshold. You know what I mean? So, but if people show signs that they actually want to change, then
It's easier said than done too, right? Because a lot of guys, like you're saying, they don't have like the love that
no, of course,
you kind of had when you came home. So
no,
some of us, it's hard for us to want to be better or do better when you've never seen it.
yeah, it's for me again another, like all of my stuff happened by pure chance. I had a good role model when I came home who was an ex-convicted felon, for lack of a better term. We don't have an incarcerated person. While at the halfway house, the director of the halfway house, who was a good guy. There's some good people in parole, corrections, stuff like that.
Of course.
There's some gems in there. This guy John, I don't know his last name, but thank you, John. He put me in touch with this guy. I won't say his name, but an ex-con that also went to that halfway house, who was an ex-biker, ex-Hells Angels, that turned his life around and was the most organized person I've ever seen in my life, and the quickest turnaround in their life I've ever seen. He like owned a house he was still on parole for 10 years. Within 5 years, he owned a house, had the biggest painting business in all of Hamilton and like Lancaster and stuff. Like was super successful, brand new truck, everything. And he gave me a job painting with him. So John, the director of the halfway house, said, I have this guy here, who I really think is, you know what I mean? Like got his head on his shoulders and it does want to change. He does construction. He could probably help you with labor. I got a 1-day job with that guy scraping stickers off doors at the new halfway house that they were building.
Oh, wow.
So we were living in an old school, like literally flooded floors, like a dungeon, while they were building this new state-of-the-art halfway house when I came home. I went and scraped stickers off the door there for a day. And then when I was done, I just picked up there was a painting company. I just picked up a paint roller and started painting. And he's like, hey, you can paint? And I'm like, yeah, and he gave me a job. Within like a month, he gave me a raise.
Nice. So you took initiative and got a job.
And I saw him turn his life around like very, not easily, it's hard work, but like with lightning speed went from like, so he got day parole. So he got like, he was in minimum security and he got like day passes. So he's in camp and he gets to go home for the weekend or like a couple days or whatever. He went and got his license while he was home. He went and like got credit. Instead of just going home and chilling with his family, he went and did homework while he was home on his thing. So he already had all his stuff started before he even got his real parole.
So by the time he got his real parole, he was just moving.
Yeah. So he showed me, he was, I'm lucky that I got a good role model. That's what I'm saying. So like you were saying, it's not easy for everybody.
No, it isn't. But it's good that you had John and
Ian.
the other gentleman.
But yeah, no. So look for role models when you come home too. It's not. It's
Definitely
it's
the right role models.
No, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
there's definitely going to be some people in your life that are doing the right things no matter what, and just watch what they're doing.
That's awesome. Adam, you came out here and you're basically what I hope everybody that comes out of jail strives to be.
Thank you.
You know, that you have your head on your shoulders, you're taking initiative. You're not sitting around watching what the guy across the hall is doing, because that'll get you dragged into a lot of
Don't
foolishness.
watch the guy across the hall.
Don't watch the guy across the hall. Could you please give us a signature here on our
Yeah, of
Handcuff Status
course.
canvas? We have 3 colors for you to choose from. $50. All right, so we'd like to thank Adam McKnight for sharing his story with us today. For all those who are incarcerated, remember, freedom is a must. Free all the lifers. Shout out Private Spaceship. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. Please hit the like button. We need you guys to hit the like button. There's a lot of people watching, and we're not getting enough hits on the like button. If you have any questions, hit us up at Handcuff Status Inc. at gmail.com. And never forget our real mission. We're trying to break the chains of injustice. Thank you.